Hello everyone, so I've got the December premium Sketchbox to unbox today. I'm excited to see what's inside. Looks like we've got the menu right here. And, ooh, it feels like a lot of stuff in there. There's something that's come out of the box. And let's see if we can get everything kind of, yeah, there we go. And that is the Color Shift Watercolor Premium Box. That sounds interesting. And I do love watercolor, so I'm excited about that. Let's find, we have this lovely lesson. Find there's the contents there, and that's an overview. And then I'm going to pull this out. 2 different things in here. Whoa! What strikes me right away is, and that was probably way too loud, but there's a very holographic shimmery sticker inside. So have a nice look at that. Looks like dripping paint splotches. I'm not really sure. I like this odd shape, but woo, it's almost too much for my eyes. I'm going to set that over here. And then we have a lovely substrate here, the Legion Stonehenge Aqua Cold Press 300 GSM white and black paper here. It says, see the difference colored paper makes with the Color Shift watercolors. I guess they're talking about the black paper in that. And let's see, it looks like noisy packaging. There we go. We're going to move the noisy packaging aside. It looks like loose sheets. I like how this was packaged with just, like, that looks like the cover of a pad or something. I don't know, it's pretty simple and nondescript, but I like that. We will just set those aside if you want to have a closer look at that. I mean, that might be hard to read on camera. The black's doing okay. My camera's like, what? I can't focus on this. But I don't want to read all of that and bore you. It feels very nice. Ooh. There's a bit of a texture on here, and the one side seems different than the other. I don't know how to say it other than that. Like there's a more textured side, so it'll be interesting to see if both sides work as well. Now that I've flipped them around a couple times, I don't even think I could tell you which side was which. Great. Then let's look at this one, the one that wanted to come out right away. This is an M-gram watercolor tube. I have said in previous videos, I fell in love with like the first M-gram watercolor that I used. It's just so pigmented and it just flows really nicely and almost too pigmented in a sense, because I had a Terra Rosa and it's just like everywhere. The problem, it's for me, not for everyone. They use honey as a binder, and for some reason, maybe being in the Pacific Northwest where it's somewhat, moist a lot of the year, mine would just never dry, and I wanted to take it with me, and it was a disaster because it never really fully dried. And even in my palette, it's tacky. It doesn't fully dry, so I don't love it for that. But yeah, this is a really, look at this, $20 value, $19.97, really nice high quality supply. So that's nice, although I won't be putting it in my travel palettes, that's for sure. What do we have here? Let's see, what should we look at first? Color pencils. Oh, I'm having a hard time deciding. Let's go with these two. Oh, you ever get that where you just like can't make a decision for the life of you? This is an easy one because it's a Prismacolor Premier pencil, and I have 2 or 3 of these already, which it is amazing. Let's just put some on there. I don't know how light fast the white is. That was something I found out after I had a little bit of a collection of Prismacolor, is that some of their colors aren't very light fast. And if you're not selling your work or hanging it on the wall for 100 years, it probably doesn't matter. But yeah, something to note. So this one is great for adding highlights, and it will probably work very well with these supplies. I'm not going to swatch it out on the white, obviously, for obvious reasons. Then we have a Pen Touch gold Sakura 1mm pen. It says quick dry, opaque, permanent. I'm trying to figure out what it's made of. I've had this before. Is it just pigmented? Not really sure. Let's get this open. Kind of looks like a paint pen, but I will have to look that up. it doesn't actually say. I'm just assuming that we're priming it this way. I do see some color coming down. Personal pet peeve of mine is I lose caps if they don't post. This has an interesting feature where it doesn't roll away. So maybe if it's on attached it won't roll away, but it doesn't post on the back, which is darn. I just love things that do post, because then I don't lose the cap so easily. This is a beautiful gold color, and let's just go on the top of here. Ooh, I like it on both. Ooh, hey, Ooh, it does have an odor. I just was noticing that. Let me grab a paintbrush. Oh, we didn't leave it on there very long, and it is not going anywhere, so that's good information. Anyway, moving on. Let's open the colored pencil. Everything's hard to get into right now. Okay, what is this? Let me see here. I'm not loving the packaging. I mean, it's a nice box, but, blah. It says it's Sketchbox Signature Artist Quality Colored Pencils 6 set. And we have blue spruce, robin's egg, chartreuse, cream, cherry, and chocolate. Use these over the color shift watercolors to add color, texture. Does it say anything on the box? On the box it says they're oil-based. So that's interesting, good information. I don't necessarily, I mean, when I first started getting premium boxes, I was excited about getting art supplies, name brand art supplies, you know, curated in a box. And lately, Sketchbox has been doing more of these Sketchbox signature items, which they don't always have a lot of information about them. Like, that's not a ton of information. So I wonder if these compare to, what's the one? I think what I'm trying to think of was Faber-Castell Polychromos. I had to go grab one to remember the name. This is what I have here. We'll see if that, maybe we can compare those, but I don't think that one matches too well. With these, this is a very lovely color selection here. Maybe let's just swatch them out. I don't even remember what order they were supposed to be in. Yeah, that's the thing, is like, I just don't know about the quality if you're not going to give me a ton of information. I mean, is it as good as a Polychromos? It would take me a while to figure that out. I don't think I'm expert enough to know right away. I'm gonna check the other ones out afterwards, but oops, I didn't do both. Ooh, that's a nice color. This yellowy color. This must be the blue spruce. It's not very blue. This must be robin's egg. Cherry, I love cherry. That's the chartreuse, and this one is called cream, which is confusing. Looks more like a yellow, like marigold yellow. I don't know. But whatever, they get to name it. They created it. Okay, let's grab some Faber-Castell. I don't really have very many colors that look like these colors, so it might be hard to compare. But this, I'm going to just write FC for Faber-Castell. Definitely feels smoother on the first layout. This is burnt ochre, and this one was walnut brown, and then I have juniper green. I feel like these are drier, the Sketchbox ones, but it's really hard to say. And here I am going on and on about that, and maybe nobody's even interested. Especially this brown. This brown one feels scratchy and drier. The other two, nominal, if any difference. Alright, let's do a quick look at what they look like on the black, and then we'll go to this little exciting thing. And I'll speed this part up. There they are on the black. Let's have a look closer up. I'm not too zoomed in. I really like all the colors so far, and it seems like we've got a lot in this box. I'm just not 100% enthusiastic about the fact that there's two Sketchbox signature sets in here. Oh, I didn't even swatch this out. I still need to swatch that up. So for this, we have a Sketchbox signature color shift watercolors with brush, huh? Okay, and in hydrangea, shimmer, alarm, mermaid, and chartreuse. Interesting. Yeah, we got 2 colors called chartreuse here. I like their packaging on this one. Oh, that looks like the shape on the sticker. I feel like that's the shape. Ooh, wait a minute. What is this? Okay, so that's what it looks like in the pot. And supposedly it says the color shifts based on the angle of light that hits them once they're dried. And different colors based on the different surfaces. That would explain why we have black and white. Look at that. That's a very different, like, especially shimmer. They're showing like a purple and a green. I'm gonna have to check that out. Ooh, but I do love this little container that it's in. Very nice. Okay, they did a good job with the packaging. We have a cute little water brush. Let's fill that up. Based on my experience with shimmer stuff, maybe we'll put some drops on and give it a second to get wet. I think we're done with this. Let's move that out of the way. And maybe we want to get everything in frame. Let's take, if we can, without having it explode, a little look at the white. Where did I put that? Oh, it's right here. This is from a previous box, a long round 4. I'm just gonna use that to take some out of the lid here and swatch it on the black. I like this paper so far. I don't know how it'll handle lots of water, which is sometimes how I like to work. I like to have the option to throw a lot of water at it, I guess. Look at that. This is just so pigmented and it's so creamy. So if you don't mind, like, if you always work at home and don't mind that it moves in the palette, you know, this is a great brand of watercolor. This titanium white opaque. All right, let's see how our colors are doing over here. This maybe is hydrangea. Let's see. Ooh, pretty color. And then let's just grab a little, go right on the, wow, it looks so different on the black. It's really, there's like a blue mica shimmer. Oh, it's gonna be, I don't know if it's really doing it justice. That's as far as I can zoom in on the camera, because what I'm seeing is a very blue hue, and I don't know if it's showing that on there. And let's look at this really up close. And this one is really pink. There is the blue in there, but it's more subtle. Okay, we'll just pull this out a bit, and I'm just going to use my water pot over here to clean that off. Next, we have Shimmer, which is kind of a mysterious name. What is Shimmer? Oh, I like this on the white. It's like a silvery lavender color. And in the pot, I almost feel like I see some green. Oh, there's the green. Okay. Can you see that? Is that showing up? Yes. It's very green on the black paper. These are just kind of cool. I don't know what to make of them, but you know, like, how's that gonna work in an art piece? I'm not sure. They're definitely fun. And then we have Alarm, which again is a color that makes me go, huh? What is this? That's a beautiful periwinkle blue color on the white. And what shall we have on the black? Whoa! Okay, wasn't expecting that. On the black, I would call it like a copper. I guess I'm going to swatch the rest of these out and then pull them up close to the camera, because otherwise we'll be here all day. This must be Mermaid, which I do love the name. And looking at the pot, it looks like Mermaid. Ooh, and it's very pretty on the... It's more blue, just I think a little more blue than green here on the white surface. And let's see what we get on the, oh wow, on the black. On the black it almost shows up more green than blue. which is interesting. Wouldn't it be fun, maybe, in one piece of work to have some like permanent black lines and just swipe it across like you have black and white in the same thing? That might be a fun thing to play with. Okay, chartreuse. Now in the pot this looks just yellow, and this is like Big Bird yellow right here on the white. I feel like from the Sesame Street days, you know, you could definitely do a shimmery Big Bird with this color. I don't know why I cleaned the brush off there. And what do we have on the black? It is not that much different on the black. What is the color shift here? Oh, wait. The color shift might happen when it's dry also. That's what it said, right? Okay, on the black, I'm not seeing a big difference. And on our little box, it looks like a yellow-green and a yellow, maybe? So these two definitely... Actually, all of these three definitely have the biggest change. And let's get closer to see these. Now mine are still dry, so... But up close, like that. Oh yeah, look at that. The first one, Alarm, it's like pink on the white and blue on the black. And then we have the Shimmer, which is beautiful purple and green. And then Alarm, which is like this coppery, almost rose gold color. And then this lovely blue. And then, you know, you have a blue leaning shimmery color here on the white, and it's like a green leaning shimmery color. And same thing, I think this is yellow leaning chartreuse, and then this one's like a green leaning chartreuse on the black. Fun, fun, fun. I have no idea what to do with these. So at this point, I'm not really sure if I'm going to be able to do artwork on the end of this video. My family's going through a difficult time with we're losing our fur baby. He's at the end of his years. We have a giant rabbit, and it's just really hard to do anything creative. Okay, let's have a close-up look now that everything's dry at the color shift. It's definitely more subtle on the white, but can you see that? Like, you can kind of see a color shift. There's the bluish in that one. Now, on the dark, I feel like the color shift is more obvious. Maybe it's just me. And obviously, the color shift on the dark paper is that it's like a completely different color. So that's really kind of cool. Yeah, and everything here is dry and looking lovely. I'm going to set these aside for reference. You might be wondering what the heck is on my desk right now. I decided that in lieu of doing like a piece of art that has to do with holiday lights, I was just going to play with this whole black and white concept, because this really, yeah, these I think are my favorite in this box for that wow factor. And who knows, maybe I'll fall in love with the pencils more as I use them. But I mean, it's hard to compete with the color show that is with these supplies here. So I have put some hearts. Yeah, pretty boring. Easy shape though. I mean, I'm limited in my creativity right now. So I'm gonna just do some hearts and just play with the color, and I'll probably like put some music on and speed it up a bit and just see what happens here. Oh, and by the way, I don't remember what this pen is called, but it is permanent when dry. It's like a pigment marker. My little black washi is reminding me that it is permanent. I also wanted to say I punched out this heart from the black paper and glued it on with an Uhu glue stick because I was curious about the difference between, you know, I don't know what it's gonna look like with the ink. So yeah, there's that. Okay, back to this. So, I had a lot of fun with this, and I'm telling you, to be honest, I just didn't have the heart to art, and maybe that's why I drew hearts, I don't know. But I had fun with this, and I'm gonna go away and let this dry. I did try to heat it with the heat gun, but I put like a ton of water on some of these. I can't even pick it up because I want to see how it dries. I'm just curious. I was just playing around and trying different things, from flinging to dry brush to all kinds of stuff, and I think these are just a really fun medium to use, and I especially think it's a great idea to do both the mixture of black watercolor paper and white, as well as black ink that's permanent. And it's even interesting how it interacted on top of the white watercolor. Obviously this is gonna re-wet, but if you have a light hand, I got some cool effects there as well in that one. And so it's just really interesting and fun. In fact, maybe I should throw some of this back on there, or the pencil, but I think I'm gonna let this dry and then show it up close, and then let that be it. Okay, after waiting a long time, I got a little impatient and sucked up some of the water that was still on there. But here is what I've got from my little experiment and art play. What do you guys think? And it is pretty fun to work with. So let me know in the comments your thoughts, and as always, thank you so much for watching and hanging in there with me. If you made it this long, you're amazing, and I hope you have a wonderful and creative day. Bye!